Hello and welcome back. In this episode, I'm going to be looking at the damage that my bike sustained in my last video, how I fixed it, and how I plan to prevent it happening again in the future. So stick around and let's check it out. For those of you that don't know, last week while out testing and comparing with the KTM 500, my mate Jeff had a little bit of a stack on my bike. What the hell have you done?
It was that front tyre you told me about.
Hey, what, it's not the front tyre.
Have a look at it.
We're not entirely sure of the exact details, but he ended up low siding it, sliding it backwards down the track and ending up upside down. Let's have a look at the damage that caused. You can see here all the mounts have been broken, ripped out, bent. It's basically dragged the fairing forwards, ripped all the mounts, broken this, ripped that out of there. That's supposed to be down straight. As I've got an aftermarket tower and it's connected to the tower, when it's pushed the fairing forwards, it's pushed this part of the screen forwards. Unfortunately, this payout is solid mounted onto the tower, so as it's pushed this forward and up, it's cracked my screen there and at this mount. So quite a bit of damage. You can see here it's all separated from there. It's pulled, this is supposed to sit down in here. It's pulled the whole thing up out of the bash plate and caused quite a bit of damage. I'll just quickly spin it around and show you the other side, because it's actually affected the other side as well. Even though it's only landed on this side and by sliding down the road backwards pulled everything forwards, the other side has been affected too. This is the other side that wasn't or didn't hit the ground, and I just want to show you, because the fairing's all connected, the bottom, this middle and to this side, that side's been pushed out, which has in turn pushed pressure on this side and popped all this side out. I think all these mounts are still okay. Nothing's broken here, which is good, but as I said, because the fairing's all joined, an impact, or in this case an impact and a push or a slide, does affect the rest of the fairing. So I've actually added up the price of replacing the damaged fairing. Warning, the following scenes contain shonky engineering. So I'm just showing you some of the breakage to the fairing mounts. So obviously there's a bit in there that's broken off. I'm hoping to transfer that screw to there and fix that. There's a crack here in the fairing. This mount here is broken off. This mount here is broken off, so I'll glue that back on, rebuild that. This mount here, broken. This is the one that really saved it. It's pretty strong and that saved it. And this is the front one on my screen which pushed forward. So I think I can fix it. Okay, so I've used some rough and ready shonky engineering here. With this one here, I glued the original underneath back on, drilled and screwed another screw in here, and then glued and arrow dotted around the outside. This one here, all the parts were here, so I've just glued it back on. And a little bit of arrow dot, hope for the best. This one I'm quite proud of. That whole mount was gone, so I found a metal bottle lid that was about the same size. Trimmed it here to suit these little bits of plastic going up, mounted it, and Errol dotted the hell out of that one. So later on when that dries properly, I'll drill a hole there and be good. This little crack here I've super glued and reinforced at the back there, so hopefully that'll be good. And I think for the back that's pretty much it. I'll just when all this dried, I'll flip it over and just there's a little bit here that's cracked and broken. I'll see if I can super glue and clamp that back on, or Errol dot and clamp that back on, and then that'll be as good as it's going to get. Here you can see the other side of that mount I made with the bottle top. Drilled the hole in it now. That's the bolt that'll go in. Fits in nicely. Obviously it'll go in from this side, like that, and we're all fixed. A little bit of glue there, but beggars can't be choosers. I've never really been a fan of crash bars on the bikes, and that's for a couple of reasons. The first one is cosmetically. I don't like when they have these big crash bars up over here. I like the look of the bike without crash bars. The other thing that puts me off crash bars is the weight. Having all that weight up here and adding to any weight that's up high and increasing the top heavy feel of the bike. Now, since my accident, I actually was contacted by Tony at SRC Adventure Moto, who makes crash bars. He saw my video, saw what happened and the damage, and he said I might like to check out his crash bars. And I told him, I said, look, I'm not a big fan of crash bars. I don't like the way they sit up high. And he said, no, you need to check out my crash bars, have a look, and let me know if you're interested. So I did. I had a look at his website, and I actually liked what I saw. The crash bars were just lower crash bars integrated into a bash plate. So we had a conversation, and Tony sent me a set of lower crash bars and bash plate, which I'm going to install and review and let you know what I think. The bash plate I have been running for the last 2 years is this Yamato bash plate. I've reviewed it in the past, one of my first videos, and I've really liked it. I liked it aesthetically. It looks really good. It fits in with the shape of the rally, and it's nice and lightweight. Now I'm going to weigh it again because I've weighed the other bars and we'll compare. But this is what I have been running, and I've been happy with it. But since I've had this accident and caused quite a lot of damage and expensive damage to replace, I'm now very much interested in not repeating that. So let's go and have a look at the SRC Adventure Moto crash bars, see what you get, and put them on and see how they look. This is how our SRC Adventure Moto bars will fit. As you can see, they're very strongly mounted to the frame here, and then through the frame, or to the frame here, straight through where the engine bolts on. So it's a very solid, and I can tell you there's a fair bit of heft to these. They are certainly solid. I've weighed them, and they're, 6 kilos altogether with the mounts and the bash plate and everything, but this is definitely solid. I've got 100% confidence in this not bending or pushing in. Now, I'm not one for producing installation videos. SRC have done an excellent how-to video of the installation process. I actually even didn't need the instructions after watching this, it was so good. The other good thing was the parts were packaged really well. The bolts, spacers, washers and nuts were all already assembled, so it took the guesswork out of it and was easy to install. And this is it all finished. That's what they look like. plenty of protection for fairing panels now. They shouldn't hit at all. New bash plate there. This was my damaged side. All back where it should be. Back up here. Solid as. That's a new mount I made in there. All solid. Only telltale sign bit we broke off there. But as you can see, we've got probably close to quite an inch there. 15, 20 mil maybe. But yes, I'm actually really happy with this. Another bonus is here, it's protecting the gear lever. We've had issues and reports of in a fall gear lever getting a knock. I'm not sure it's up or down or this way, but bending the other end of this shaft where it's got two little ears that move and help it shift up and down gears, they get bent and then you get stuck in gear. I've heard of that happening quite a few times. I've always been conscious about that, but I'm actually very happy now. This is going to protect that. And on the bike, it doesn't protrude very far at all. Excuse my little legs here, but that's how we're looking when we're on the bike. What I didn't want was the ones that come up here, and look, that's exactly what I've got. Now, why didn't I do this from the start, or at least before last week when I broke this? I'm gonna have to do a bit of a touch up here and see how good I can get that to look. But overall, I'm really impressed with that. Bash plate is nice, solid. That's my watch hitting it there. But yeah, very happy with that. Yes, definitely Shonky approved. Now, as with anything, there are pros and cons. So let's take a look at what I think are the main ones. Pro, as in protection. There is no denying that these crash bars will help prevent damage to the expensive plastics, and hopefully prevent damage to the gear lever. Now the main con to crash bars is weight. I've now gained 4.2 kilograms, and on paper that seems like a lot. In reality, the weight is all at the bottom of the bike, and there is no noticeable difference in felt weight when you're riding it. Staying with the cons is cost. In Australia, the SRC bash plate and crash bars sold by SRC Adventure Moto retails for around $550, so there is a substantial cost involved. I've put the final pro as cost savings because when you add up the potential for replacement parts and panels, it's very easy to exceed that $550. My last drop would cost $850 to replace all the damaged parts, and that's with me sourcing the parts and doing it myself. You'll have to decide whether or not you think crash bars are worth it for you. I just wanted to share my experiences and show you that there are what I'm calling low profile crash bars available for the CRF 300 Rally. If you're interested in a set like these, head to the SRC Adventure Moto website and check them out. I'll put a link in the description. If you're overseas, check out SRC. You should be able to find a local distributor. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Something happened here. And I think that's where it then might have spun round. But I think it's doing this here. Too much power.
You heard it, folks, too much power.